Hello, I'm Ryan with Pressure Washers USA, and today we're going to be talking about proportioners, soft washing, misconceptions, truths, and how to use them. And today we have Collin with SoftWash Technologies here to help us with some of those misconceptions, truths, and ways to use the proportioner correctly. Good morning, Collin.
Ryan, thank you so much for having me. How you doing?
Absolutely. I'm doing wonderful. I'm happy to have you here and looking forward to talking about your proportioners you have and the proper way to soft wash.
Sure, yeah.
So a lot of our customers out there who've never done any pressure cleaning or soft washing, they want to know, what is soft washing?
Great question. Soft washing is an amazing cleaning technique, and it goes hand in hand with a lot of pressure washing service providers out there. It's kind of the second tool in your tool belt that allows you to get different jobs done for materials and surfaces that are a little more delicate, that pressure washing otherwise wouldn't be a candidate for.
Wonderful. Excellent. So a proportioner, can you show us a little about what a proportioner is?
Yeah, so a soft wash proportioner, just like this, it uses three main chemicals. We've got water, soap, and chlorine. And chlorine, also known as sodium hypochlorite, is the miracle chemical that's found in soft washing that allows you to kill organic growth such as algae, mold, mildew on those delicate surfaces.
Wonderful. Where can our customers find the SH, sodium hydrochloride?
Well, there are bulk suppliers all across the country. I personally recommend Pressure Washers USA, located here in South Florida, and new locations coming across the state.
Ah, excellent. So what I have here in my hand, can you explain a little bit more? There's three different blocks you've got here. I'm going to pass these on to you. Maybe you could give us a little lesson on what we got going on here.
This is our manifold block, and this is basically where all of your chemicals come to mix: your water, your soap, and your sodium hypochlorite. It's the house where everything mixes before it gets sent to your pump.
Wonderful. So you got three different ones now. So I see you got this one here, the smaller one. It's the 1/2 inch.
That's going to be our 1/2 inch, and that's going to be great for the 12-volt pumps, typically 5.5 gallons and under. We've got our 3/4 inch manifold block, which is going to be great for around 7 gallons a minute. And then finally, our 1 inch manifold block, which is for more of the serious soft wash professionals who are running gas-powered units that do 10 plus gallons per minute.
Excellent, excellent. So there's some terminology out there that our customers come in and they say, hey, I batch mix, or I use a proportioner. Could you explain a little more on the difference?
Absolutely. So batch mixing is kind of the simplest way of getting your soft washing mixture put together. You combine water, chlorine, and a surfactant into a tank before you're mixing on your job. And it's really the easiest way to start out, but once you get a little more experienced and you want to upgrade your system, you're going to work into a soft wash proportioner, which actually allows you to store all of your chemicals in separate containers, meaning that you're mixing them at the point of use. You're not going to be wasting any chemicals, and there's not going to be any degradation of your surfactant in case you didn't use it right when you mixed it with a batch mixer.
Can you tell us a little about surfactants and how they use it in soft washing?
So we've got a surfactant right here by a company called Neutrapods. This is their mango mauler surfactant. And it's basically a soap inside of your soft wash mixture that has a couple key factors on your soft wash mix. Number one, it acts to foam up your mix, allowing it to adhere to sloped surfaces so you have longer dwell times, so it doesn't just run off into the gutter or onto your client's plants immediately. It allows the SH mixture to stick to the surface and continue cleaning for the dwell time that you want to leave it there for. The second thing that it does is it decreases the surface tension of your soft wash mixture. And what that allows it to do is your soft wash mixture is then going to penetrate deeper into the surface that you're cleaning, allowing for a deeper clean.
So it helps the dwell times and it helps it stick.
Yes, and one more thing I didn't mention is the smell that comes with this mango mauler. If you've ever done soft washing before, or you know what chlorine smells like, especially in the concentrations we use in soft washing, you know that it's not a great smell, and it's something that can honestly be a little bit concerning to your clients. So a soft wash surfactant like mango mauler acts to mask that smell, and it's actually a really pleasant aroma that you're going to be able to give your clients a much better experience when you're doing your cleaning.
Hence the name mango mauler.
Mango mauler. It's so good, actually, the smell, that you want to taste it. Disclaimer, do not taste this surfactant, or any surfactant for that matter.
For mango mauler, where would that be introduced into the proportion?
On the proportioner, you have, again, 3 valves for your water, soap, and chlorine. Your mango mauler, or whatever surfactant you choose to use, is going to be introduced into the middle valve, which is going to be your soap valve. And that's always a 1/4 inch on all of our proportioners, because no matter what size pump you're using a very little surfactant relative to the other components, your water and your chlorine. especially for a very concentrated mixture, surfactant like mango mauler.
Interesting. So I'm looking at your proportioner here, and it's got these 3 different dials, and I've noticed that you've got a blue, a red, and a neon green here. That's really to help the customer know which one is which?
Absolutely. As a service provider, you've got potentially a bunch of guys working on your rigs doing multiple soft washes a day. You need to make it very clear to them what their mixture setup is supposed to look like. So we recommend when you get your soft wash proportioner, if you get it locally, have them install it, have them set it up for different mixes. For instance, you're going to have a higher concentration for doing algae-ridden asphalt roofs, maybe a lower concentration for a siding wash with vinyl siding. So get that set up in advance and make it very clear to your guys what settings are supposed to be put on the soft wash proportioner. Take pictures and send those pictures throughout your group chats to make sure that you're not going to be messing up any client's properties by improperly mixed soft washes.
So going back to the dial, there are some numbers located on these dials here. And a lot of my customers, when they first purchase our proportioner, they want to know, what are these numbers for and how do they work?
So these numbers are indications that are going to get you most of the way there as far as dialing in your soft wash mixture, but every soft wash setup is different. So we have a chart on our website, and you can talk to your local pressure washing or soft washing equipment supplier to find out what settings you should start with when dialing your soft wash proportioner. But ultimately, these numbers on the valves are meant to indicate and allow you to remember and basically lock in your different soft wash mixes. So because every soft wash setup is different, you want to dial in your mix as it comes out of the gun and then take stock of what these numbers look like on the valves and remember those and make sure your guys remember them as well.
So for the proportioner, how do you recommend starting off with the proportioner?
So good initial settings that you can use on your proportioner are going to be 100% on the water, and you're typically going to be keeping the water at 100% all the time and just manipulating your chlorine and soap valves. A good setting to start out with is around 50% on your chlorine valve or your SH valve, and that's going to give you about a 3 to 4% on average soft wash mixture. From there, you can dial it up a little bit to get a hotter mix or dial it down depending on the different surface that you're cleaning. And with the soap valve, because different surfactants come in different concentrations, you do have to dial in your soap, and that's one of the most finicky things that you can dial in that can change depending on what surfactant you're using. We typically recommend starting with around 20 to 25% on your soft wash dial.
So on your proportioners, we have these valves. And I hear you talk about on your podcast and such about true union proportioning valves. Can you tell us a little more why they're beneficial and what they're for?
So true union valves are really the best type of valve you can have on a proportioner because it allows you to maintain the proportioner very easily over time. If you ever need to swap out any hoses or swap out a valve, the true union component allows you to take the port and completely separate it from the valve body and then reattach it as needed. So if you want to make sure that you're not going to be spending a lot of money down the line by long labor times working on your machinery, true union valves all throughout your system, especially on your proportioner, are going to be the best way to do that.
Sticking to your proportioners, we were just talking about the true union. What's this next part that we have going on here?
So our check valves are a very important part of a soft wash proportioner. The check valves located right here aren't just attachments to connect your metering valve to your manifold block. They actually keep the flow going in one direction so that there is no backflow or contamination, cross-contamination of your chlorine, for instance, into your water tank. That would be very bad, especially if you're doing pressure washing services. You don't want chlorine or soap getting into your main water tank. The great thing about our check valves that we use on these soft wash proportioners is we use male-to-male check valves, which is not at all standard in the industry. And the great thing about the male-to-male check valves is you only need one piece to connect your metering valve to your manifold block. What you see on most of our competitors is they have a female check valve that is going to utilize 2 other nipples. So basically, you're using 3 parts when you only need 1. Okay, this is what most people on the market are using. It makes for a very elongated soft wash proportioner system. And if you know anything about soft washing, the fewer parts means fewer leaks.
Wonderful. On your blocks, a lot of our customers in the past, when they had these blocks, they didn't have a real place to mount them. They'd use hose clamps and other ways to mount them. Collin, I see you've helped us out there, and we've got some through holes here so we could through bolt and help mount that.
Yeah, we got 3/8 bolts on here. You really want something sturdy that's going to mount your proportioner to your rig, and you want to be able to turn your valves with confidence and not feel your proportioner shaking around and loosening your fittings potentially.
So a lot of our customers and their clients want to know, is soft washing safe for their home, and what can they do to make it safer?
Soft washing is a very safe and effective cleaning method. There are some surfaces you want to be aware of that don't work with soft washing, and you can actually damage materials. But in general, there are plenty of surfaces that are amazing for soft washing, but you can make it safer, especially before and after your soft washing treatment, by using a bleach neutralizer. This bleach neutralizer is from Neutrapods, and what you do is you spray it on clients' bushes, anything that's sensitive around the house, any plants, anything that could come into contact with animals or children, and also use it as a post-rinse, combining this solid bleach neutralizer with water to neutralize any residual bleach that is left over and can cause damage to your client's property after you leave the job site if it continues reacting.
It's really cool that it's inside of this dissolvable bag. A lot of the contractors will throw these around the downspouts, and as the chlorine runs through this bag, it'll dissolve, and out on the other end will come neutralized product. So therefore, it's not destroying the grass, the plants, or anything else.
Yeah, it's a water-soluble pouch, and you can leave it in the gutters. And even if you haven't used the entire pouch when you've left, as long as it's neutralized all the bleach, it'll just wash away with rainwater. And according to the owners of Neutrapods, there's never a time where you're using too much bleach neutralizer. You always want to err on the side of using more bleach neutralizer than less.
Yeah, and so we at Pressure Washers USA, we offer a 3-pound bag that you can use for more bulk product or for actually cleaning out your pumps. Now, if say we need to clean out our pumps, or we need to introduce this out into the system, like cleaning plants and such, can we run that through your proportioner?
Yeah, pump maintenance is very important. And if you know anything about sodium hypochlorite, it can break down the internals of your pump if left to sit over time. And now, one step to diminish any results where your pump is being affected and corroding over time is to wash it out with water. But the best thing you can do for it is to wash it out with a bleach neutralizer such as Neutrapods. And you can do that very easily if you have a soft wash proportioner by dropping the line that would normally be going into your soap tank into a tank that is filled with a bleach neutralizer. You can also use this to spray your bleach neutralizer through your pump and onto your client's property after you flush it out completely to neutralize any leftover chemicals that could be killing plants or running off into streams or any areas that children or animals might be affected by.
And that's this center port here, correct?
That's going to be the center port, half-inch soap valve. You're just going to take it out of your surfactant tank and drop it into your bleach neutralizer tank, and it'll be going through your proportioner. Make sure to shut off your chlorine, obviously, and rinse your system completely out with water before you start neutralizing any surfaces.
And guys, this is super important for your pumps. A lot of my mechanics, they run into the check valve springs are getting eaten up. The check valves inside of the pump are getting eaten up. It corrodes anything SH touch, it corrodes. So being able to use these Neutrapods or our 3-pound bag for bulk really will help protect your pump as well. And being able to take this line out is huge and put it into wherever you want to pull from, whether it's a surfactant or a neutralizer. This is a great option, being able to use this. That way you don't have to put it into your water tank or anywhere else. It's just directly pulled from the neutralizer bucket, tank, or wherever you are by simply, do we close the water valve, Collin, and just go straight, or would you leave the water valve open as well?
We definitely want to leave the water valve open. Shut off your chlorine valve after you finish applying your soft wash mixture. Rinse out your entire system for a couple minutes with just water, and then drop your surfactant hose into your neutralizer bucket with your pre-mixed neutralizer, and then flush out your system with water and your neutralizer mixture.
That's great. That's wonderful. Now, you were talking about how to make it safe for the operator. Do you guys carry anything that makes it safe for the operator?
Yeah, so personal protective equipment is really important, especially in pressure washing and soft washing. And there's not a lot of personal protective equipment on the market for soft washers. One thing that we've introduced and we're trying to get popular in the market is protecting your lungs. You only got one pair of lungs. It's going to last you your entire life. Hopefully that life is as long as possible. This is our soft wash respirator, which uses a chlorine filter on either side, as well as an N95 filter on both sides to prevent any particulates from getting in. You can also use it for paint spraying, but it's really good for soft washing on days where it's not very windy and the chlorine is kind of lingering and you're breathing it in. or areas where you're in a confined space, sometimes even inside where that chlorine and the vapors are really building up and getting into your lungs.
Excellent. Now, we talk a lot about proportioners and chlorine. Now, I do have some clients who own truck washing businesses. Can your proportioners do anything other than chlorine?
Absolutely. The proportioners are made with very sturdy materials, and because of that, they can be used with degreasers, acids, very alkaline chemicals. The one important thing is you don't want to mix acids and alkaline chemicals because that can create mustard gas and other harmful vapors. So definitely, if you're going to be using a proportioner, try to use it with one chemical. And if you're going to be using it with multiple chemicals, either flush it out really well or make sure that those chemicals don't conflict in a way that could be causing harm to you or your employees.
That's great. That's great. So I wanted to bring up a pretty important piece here. If you are constructing your own, you buy the parts or you're replacing any of your valves or anything, you want to use a really good Teflon tape. Now, Collin here has got some good stuff here. This PTFE tape, it's the blue tape. As you can see, you could probably see it on his check valve here. Now, there is cheap tape out there, and there are better options. And Collin happens to carry a good option that he does supply to us that we do have available at Pressure Washers USA. We're happy to hand you a roll and let you go ahead, try it out, and use it on your stuff.
Yeah, it's really important whenever you're going to be putting these systems together. Anything, air leaks that get into your system is going to affect the spray output, the volume that you're able to put out. So we have a really great Teflon tape or thread tape that you can use that's chemical resistant and resistant to UV, so that it's going to keep your system airtight, and you're not going to have any air leaks getting into your pump that are going to affect the spray output.
Interesting, air leaks. So you're saying if you got air leaks, you're basically losing prime on the pump, right? And then first thing you're going to want to blame is the proportioner, correct?
The thing that has the most parts is typically the thing that we want to blame. And anytime you're putting more parts together, the more chances you have for air leaks. So if your pump isn't priming, if you're not getting pressure, you always want to go through and make sure that you've got enough Teflon tape or thread sealer on your fittings all throughout your system to ensure an airtight seal throughout.
That's wonderful, man. I've learned a lot about soft washing, and I hope you guys have as well. Collin, we appreciate you today coming out and explaining everything. Is there anything else out there that you guys got coming, or you guys feel like the consumer needs to know?
Absolutely. A great thing that we're working on right now is a three-way shutoff. So you can be on your roof mixing using your soft wash mix, and then remotely, without having to climb down a ladder, potentially injuring yourself, you can simply hit a button from a device that's going to be around your neck, and that'll shut off your soap and your chlorine and just allow you to rinse with water so you can do your wash down after you've applied your soft wash mixture.
That's great. Some important stuff coming up, guys. May 1st, we have a live demonstration of the Bandit Ranger. We're going to have Collin out there. We're going to have Joe and Terry. They're going to be out there talking about Neutrapods and their mauler and their great products that they carry. Collin will be out there to answer any questions in purpose. It's going to be at our Stuart location, 3411 Southeast Dixie Highway here in Stuart, Florida. The operator, Sam, is going to be holding an event. We're going to have food, giveaways, and such. Collin was nice enough to donate some stuff for a raffle and some, maybe grab a tape while you're there,
And we've got another new product that's going to be introduced to the soft washing / pressure washing market. Do you want to tell us a little bit about
Yeah, so it's going to be the Bandit Ranger. It's the all-in-one. You're able to introduce you could go from pressure washing to downstreaming to upstreaming. Now that's highly important. People are like, upstreaming, what's upstreaming? Well, that's actually the pump's pulling the chemical in through the pump, delivering it at a 250 PSI at 10 gallons per minute, 6 gallons per minute, or 8 gallons per minute. It's a really cool product. Pressure Systems Innovation will be out there demoing this product for us. We're going to have a lot of giveaways, a lot of raffles. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be from 10 to 1. Please stop by, check us out, ask your questions. We're all going to be there. It's going to be a really good thing.
Open bar, right?
Not at this one. We're working on getting the city of Stuart to allow that to happen.
Bring your own drinks.
There you go. We're okay with
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Check out our YouTube channel. Like, share. Do it for me and Collin. We'd appreciate it. This type of stuff is only important to the people who are watching it. And the more people we get, the more education we could get out there.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Thanks.